Hi, everyone. So glad to be back here with you all. I hope you had a wonderful holiday wherever you are in the world and whatever you did. I hope it was fantastic. Here we are, 2026. Let's make it a really, really, really good year. All right. So, for those of you that are new to Venus and you haven't downloaded the app, get on to welcome to venus.com. It's free for a limited time. Download it so that you can submit questions and we get to connect with you on a regular basis. And without any more time, let's just jump in. I want to jump into these amazing questions that folks submitted. So the first question is from Mary, and they write, Dear Dr. Frankie, I'm what they call a later in life lesbian, meaning I came out just last year and I'm 57, was married with children, all of that. I have finally gotten up the courage to go on dating sites, but it is usually me who stops after the first of second date. I'm ashamed to say I am worried I just won't know what to do, no matter how many fantasies I have had over the years once we become intimate. I have never liked watching porn of any kind, and I got up the nerve to buy a lesbian erotica book, only to find that the roles being role played were daddy and little girl. And for me, I came from a domineering husband. I don't want more of that. Do you have any advice on how I could educate myself so I could feel more comfortable about being sexual or allowing myself to be sexual with another woman? Yeah, so this is a great question, Mary, and it makes perfect sense that you would feel like a fish out of water, right? Like you came out later in life, you haven't had experience, and it's hard. It's different. Being with a woman is different. And I get that you want to feel confident and familiar. And I would, it's becoming more and more kind of accepted or acceptable to consider surrogacy. So there are professionals out there who some may consider sex workers, but really these are people who are accredited, educated, and knowledgeable about intimacy. And they often work with folks who are coming out later in life or have been virgins, for example, and they are wanting to become comfortable, to understand sort of how to move their body around another person, how to, what it feels like to even be touched, how to explore being with somebody of the same gender. What are the nuanced differences? How do you communicate in those different circumstances? And so it's really about meeting with a professional who has the knowledge and experience and expertise to guide you. They're a guide and they give you exposure and they give you tools and greater understanding and education so you yourself can put yourself out there and move from date one to date two and three, four, five, and so on, knowing that you have the knowledge and experience where you're not having to figure it out on your own. You're actually hiring a professional to guide you through it. And it's all at your pace. What I want to say, as you're exploring potential sex surrogates, make sure that they are right, that they are professional, that they have education, that they are connected to an accredited organization. So you've got to do some research on your end. And there are many that are out there that are actually part of the LGBTQ community. They themselves may identify as lesbian or bisexual or pansexual and so on. And it may be helpful too to pick somebody who you think objectively is attractive. And that's fine too. And just know that you're employing them for a service. And this isn't somebody who you're going to have a long-term relationship with. It's somebody that's going to show up to support you, help you get to a place of confidence and comfort so that you yourself can make it happen and that you can feel confident and get in there and meet some amazing women on your own who hopefully you will have beautiful connection with. So, Mary, thanks for asking that question. Start researching sex surrogacy, and there is plenty of information out there. You can look at ASECT, AASECT, which is the governing board that is national, and they basically, that's where I got my board certification as a sex therapist. So they have a lot of resources. Good luck. All right, Ava. Ava writes in, my girlfriend wants to merge our lives way faster than I do. She's already talking about moving in, combining money, doing everything together, the whole lesbian starter pack. And I keep nodding along like I'm on board, even though my stomach is in knots. I can't tell if this is normal anxiety or if my brain is waving a giant red flag that a massive heartbreak is waiting for me down the line. I'm scared of hurting her feelings, but I also don't want to get dragged into a life merge when I'm not ready. How do you slow a relationship down without making the other person feel unwanted or rejected? So I know that this is like kind of run of the mill response, but it's actually true through and through, Ava, which is communication. So everybody moves at their own pace. And I'm not sure how long you've been together, but it doesn't even matter necessarily. I think that you've got to honor how you feel about it. And it's feeling like it's moving too fast. So you've got to be honest with her and just share that this is the pace at which you're moving is feeling really scary. And you may need to actually bring a relationship and dating coach or a psychologist or a therapist into the mix to help the two of you communicate your needs and to help her understand what's coming up for you. And maybe the therapist can also help you communicate what's coming up for you in a way where you both can stay really open and receptive to one another. Because if you're not ready to move in and merge at this point, then it's going to come up in other ways where you're not going to be available to actually really, join and celebrate and be like excited about this next chapter. You want to be excited. You don't want to feel like paralyzed with anxiety or doubting that it's the right decision. You want to feel really good about the decision. That doesn't mean that, for everybody who is ready to make that move feels no anxiety. There is some, right, trepidation. That's normal. But to really be feeling like your stomach is in knots and you've got lots of anxiety and, you're feeling like it could be a red flag, I would listen to that because that is your system is saying to you, slow down. So get some support and communicate. And I imagine if this is the right relationship for you, Ava, everything will work itself out. I do believe that things happen for a reason and they will shake out the way that they should. Good luck. All right, Vivian. Let's see. Vivian writes in, my partner has never been able to come. Not with men, not alone, and not with me. She was sexually abused as a child, and even though she insists she's completely healed and that it doesn't affect her anymore, I can't stop wondering if it's connected. I'm scared to bring it up because she gets really defensive around anything that implies she's still carrying trauma. She insists any further therapy would be useless. I try so hard to make sex light, fun, and zero pressure, and I tiptoe around anything orgasm related because I don't want her to feel broken. But her anxiety about not being able to orgasm is starting to make the whole experience stressful for me too. We can't have sex without it affecting her. I want to help her and have a healthy sex life together, but I don't know how to approach this without hurting her. So it sounds like you're not even focusing on the orgasm so much. It's her that's putting pressure on herself. Because I was going to say, let go of pressure around orgasm because there are plenty of people that can't necessarily orgasm for one reason or another. And the whole foreplay and the like just be physical touch, and there's so many ways that we can stimulate and turn each other on that, I know culturally where a lot of us are hyper focused on reaching orgasm when we just need to let go of that and just enjoy the journey of connection and intimacy. But it actually sounds like your partner is the one who's feeling a lot of pressure and putting pressure on herself and feeling defensive and maybe embarrassed and shameful about the fact that she's never orgasmed. And I imagine that therapy would be immensely helpful. The problem is, Vivian, if she's not open to therapy, you can't force her to seek out therapy. So I would, when you're being intimate and it's coming up, I would just, be as loving and supportive of her as possible. And in moments, maybe not during intimacy and sex, when you're not in a situation like that, maybe you can gently um, suggest different types of, I don't know, it could be tantric. There's so many different ways to like activate the body and mind, get the mind connected more to the body. It sounds like because of her trauma, she may have some dissociative symptoms where she's just kind of disconnecting from her body, which is, you were saying, she might not, it might be not be connecting, which is what you might be picking up on. So she can't actually stay present long enough to reach orgasm. That's a possibility. And I think with therapy, with the right, like a therapist who is very experienced with sex therapy and trauma PTSD treatment, um, this is something that can totally be treated, but she has to be open to it. And also, it's important for her to know that you're not judging her, that you're there, that you're not putting any pressure on her to actually orgasm, that you absolutely love being with her intimately and trying different things, and that you're there for it. You're there to support her, and you want it to not affect her. And of course it's affecting you because you're connected, and if it's affecting her, it's certainly going to affect you. So communication, try to have these conversations not in the room when you're trying to have sex, and then seek out support and resources. There's plenty of books out there, but it sounds like she has some unresolved work to do around the sexual trauma that happened when she was a kid. But I get that it's frustrating, and avoidance is a way in which we cope sometimes. So hopefully that's helpful. All right. It looks like I've got one more question that I can cover today. Diana, I fell out with my best friend years ago. I had low self-esteem, and she was a terrible friend to me for years. But when I finally stood up for myself, she ghosted me in the most malicious way, and everyone in our friend group took her side. I don't even know what she told them, but suddenly I was the bad guy. Now I see she just got engaged, and I can't stop feeling hurt and angry. She's treated people terribly, cheated, and somehow everyone in her life still enables her, and she keeps moving ahead in life. I hate that it bothers me this much, but I can't help it. How do you stop caring about someone who hurt you so badly, who got away with it, and just move on with your own life? Diana, you got to ask yourself, is this person paying rent in your mind? Are they paying you rent? If they're occupying so much time and space in your mind, they should be paying rent. So you've got to redirect your focus on people and experiences and opportunities that are beneficial to you. To fixate and ruminate on somebody who sounds like not a great person, and it sounds like the people that you lost in the process of losing this person actually maybe aren't great people for you to be around anyway, because often these people gravitate towards each other. So if those friends really are valuing somebody who is a cheater and malicious, like an unkind, morally compromised person, send them all off and away. Like, send positivity in their direction, channel it there, visualize it moving away. Like, use some mindfulness techniques, which is like, it might be like a cloud in the sky or a leaf going down, moving down a river or a stream. Send it off and like package it up and say goodbye to it, because you want to fill that space with people who are kind, caring, have good morals, have a good moral compass, who appreciate you, who aren't out there to hurt you or compete with you, or like, you had low self-esteem to begin with and she was a terrible friend for years. Like, you want to be around people who celebrate you and support you and don't actually try to find your vulnerabilities and tap into them. So just, I want you to refocus. I want you to find mindfulness, learn some of those tools and techniques, and use it here where you just keep finding yourself focusing on her. Like, just let it pass by, because you want to make space in your mind and in your life for people to come in who are good for you, who are going to elevate you, who are going to motivate you to want to rise to where they are. So Remember, vibration, increase your vibration. Be around people who are good, kind, loving, caring, supportive people. We need more of that today more than ever. Thank you all for submitting these questions. Fantastic. I look forward to seeing you next week. Love you all. Kisses, hugs. Take really good care, everyone. See you later.